Welcome to the second hour of the Time Machine with your boy Jay Mace on WUAG 103.FM, playing the best no school hip hop, R&B, and everything else in between. With me on the phone right now, I have my man CeeLos, formerly of the 80s R&B group Finest Hour. CeeLos, welcome to the Time Machine, my man.
Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together for Jarrell Mace. What's up, man?
Not much, man. I appreciate the introduction. Kind of reminds me of Arsenio. Woo, 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 woo.
Hey, man. Hey, Arsenio actually needs to come back, man.
Yeah, of course.
I don't even know why he came. I mean, I know why, but I don't know why he didn't come back his own way. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it kind of makes me feel like I'm like, man, I missed out on a lot because I was like a little shorty when he was hot and doing his thing.
Oh yeah, man. He was the thing to be on back then, man.
All right, so tell the people a little bit about yourself and about you being in Finest Hour.
Okay, well, a little bit. Let me draw back a little back. Just before Finest Hour, I started my whole professional career with acting and all of that stuff with a group called Boston Youth Theater out of Boston. Now, Boston Youth Theater was at the time like the hottest youth talent, theatrical type troupe that would go around in and around the Boston area. We even traveled out of the Boston area, like we did Philadelphia, different parts of the country, where we would go out and do these particular shows where they were singing, dancing, acting, the whole bit, man. That's where I really got my first take on the whole industry thing, you know, growing up that way. And then once I left doing that, I started auditioning to be in a singing group with a guy by the name of Larry Wu, Lawrence Wedgeworth, which is known as Larry Wu. And I got into one of his groups, and then from there, that group didn't really work out too well. That was a group that I was in with Free, you know, Free that used to be on 106 in Park, Marie Wright. What up? What up? What up? Just hollering out to her. But anyways, from there, that group didn't work. And then Larry had another group called Finest Hour that he was trying to piece together with just different singers from different groups. And actually, Finest Hour was a group before the group that most people would know. It was three guys in the group, a guy named Jay, Troy, which was in the group, and Jamal, which was in the group. Now, Jay decided to do some kind of solo thing, which he's hot. He's real hot. I mean, I'm sure he's still doing his music right now. I think he was going by the name of Jay Blue. So once he kind of decided to do his solo thing, Vaughn, which we call him Joe, he got in the group just before me, and he was in a group that was well taken back in the Boston area as well. Can't remember the name of that group. They had a song called Baby Love, and that was Johnny Wright that now manages Justin Timberlake. He actually did a lot of road managing and managing, co-managing with Larry Wu with that group. So he left that group because that group dispersed, and then Finest Hour started this new thing. And then I came in after the group I was with dispersed, and then we became Finest Hour. And man, it was like 6 months later, man, we had a record deal, you know, and that was lovely because usually, even back then, it was hard to get a record deal, you know. Everybody would, you know, work hard to try to get a record deal, 10 years, 15 years, 5 years, whatever. But it took us 6 months, my man. 6 months. What we did is we just was on the grind, man. You know, back then we didn't call it on the grind. We just called it working. I mean, every day, Sunday through Saturday, we rehearsed 7 hours a day, man, 7 to 8 hours a day, man. It was like no stopping us. It was no stopping us. We was like the low totem pole because Larry Wu back in the day and Gordon Worthy, that was his partner. Larry and Gordon had several groups. And what happened, man, is Larry had this big showcase, and his group was on the showcase, and we was the low totem pole. We was like nobodies back then. And after that show, man, that was it. We became like priority, and most of the groups was real mad. But we when they was playing, we was working. I mean, we jogged together, we sang together, we argued together. You know, we even dated girls, you know, together. Meaning, not the same girl, but we went out on dates. We did everything together. It was like a brotherly love kind of thing. But within that 6 months, a whole lot went on, man. And the lovely thing about doing what you do, when the right crew comes together, man, things move like a train, man, like an airplane. It moves quick, and it moves quick because everybody's in place that's supposed to be there, and everybody's thinking the same way. It's like a team. It's like the Barack Obama team, man. Everybody's in place and it's moving. You know what I mean?
All right, now you being from Boston and Finest Hours out of Boston, what was it, you know, when New Edition and New Kids on the Block was hitting? Those were the two groups that came out of Boston and set it off for the teen R&B and pop tip. Now, what was that like? You guys like, man, if New Edition, New Kids are doing it, we're going to have to come hard.
Well, when New Edition came out, for me it was like, wow, you know, this is something I always wanted to do. Not really what they were doing, but I always wanted to be in front of the camera. I always wanted to be, you know, center of attraction, not over other people that surrounded me that was a part of the game, but I always wanted to be known. So when I seen New Edition doing Candy Girl, I was like, yo, that's hot. You know, like what they're doing is really hot. And I thought it was something that I could do, and it made me engage in wanting to do it even more. So when Candy Girl came out, I was like, yo, how you do that? Can I do that? And, you know, back then, you know, just before they came out, Dick Clark had started the American Music Awards. And growing up, I always would sit back and watch, you know, the Janis Joplins, the Rick James, the people from back in the day. I would sit and watch the American Music Awards and always want to do it. So when New Edition came out with their thing, I was like, yo, this thing is like real close, man. How can I be down? So it really affected me in a positive way. Now, when New Kids came out, I'm gonna keep it real. Real talk, Jarrell. I didn't think it was gonna do anything. I just thought they were white guys from Boston that was just trying to be what we were. And I was like, you know, because Maurice Starr, and I know you know him, you did some interview. He had a real big ego back then. And every time you see Maurice, whether we was on a show with New Kids on the Block, or whether New Kids on the Block was doing something in the air, he was always real loud with it. So he was the type of dude that you would be like, man, I hope those guys don't do nothing. They're never going to make it. But lo and behold,
they did.
They made it huge. And as we know today, they still banging it out. They're banging it out right now. They got all these shows, you know, that they're about to do across the country. They're selling out. They're ready to make it happen, you know, and I think it's a lovely thing for them. So back to the original question, what did that do for me? It was like friendly competition between us and New Kids on the Block, because when they came out, they were out like a year or two prior to us, because they had a record out prior to the Please Don't Go Girl that didn't do too well. And what we would do is we would do shows with them. And it was friendly competition because we was cool, they was cool. So once in a while we'd hang out together. But it was, even at that time, I didn't know that I was really involved. You know, because the Boston scene is unlike, back then, was unlike all the other scene, like the New York scene, the L.A. scene, and what's known today, the Atlanta scene. It wasn't the same. It was kind of like we had our own little circle, our own little thing going. Not that we didn't want people involved in our circle, but it was like we was on our own little island, and nobody really listened to us, you know, until the New Edition, until the New Kids on the Block. And it was like a kind of like a family, because Boston is real small. It ain't big. It's big, but it ain't small. You know what I mean? It's not small, but it's not big neither.
It's mid-size.
Huh?
It's mid-size.
Yeah, man, it's real mid-size, but, you mean, you know, it's like, you know, Aerosmith come from there. So many different great musicians come from Boston, but a lot of people don't even know, you know, don't know that those people come from Boston. You know what I mean? Because it's like Boston's got its own little circle, and it's like if you don't know that they're from Boston on your own, you wouldn't know they came from Boston. So back to your original question, what was it like for me? It was a lovely thing, man, watching them do their thing, especially when New Kids blew up. I was like, whoa, boy, was I wrong. I think I was wrong because Maurice used to get on my nerves.
Yeah.
Maurice loved to get on people's nerves, man. I remember we did Jack the Rapper back in the day, man, and Albie Shaw was there. I mean, all the big, New Jack Swing. Man, Maurice used to go around Jack the Rapper. You can't sing. Going up to these cats, man, we right there with him. He wasn't our producer, but because we knew him so well, we kind of rolled with him, with Larry.